in my experience and observing so many people, is that what stresses us out most because we
Mm.
don't know if we will pass or fail.
You failed and you're lesser than, you're not capable.
And there is no failure, there's just feedback. So maybe even changing the wording. Hi, everyone. I'm here today with Olivia again. I'm super excited what she comes up with today. And I hope everyone who is watching this video can get a lot out of it. And now, Olivia, my time is all yours. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, Monica. How are you?
Yeah, thank you. I'm also very fine, super excited and happy to work with you. So let's just dive into that. Tell me, what would make this an extraordinary conversation for you?
Uh, what would make this an extraordinary conversation would be for us to um, explore my next phase of completing the course with RTT. So I have the practical assessment examination coming up. And I am feeling nervous. This exam is going to be, of course, like this platform on Zoom, and there will be a moderator there too. So, that's even more pressure because I know for a fact I do have anxiety performance uh, issue. So being able to do a session while someone else is observing and really actually um, grading me and taking notes on the things that I say or may not say is kind of weighing on me. So I'm hoping that our coaching session today can give me, some tools or, some ways to navigate this next phase as I'm programmed.
Yeah, so thank you for sharing this, Olivia. And I'm super happy and excited to work on that with you today. So, you commented on our last coaching session on the last video that you passed like with excellent the written exam. Congratulations,
Thank
Olivia. Amazing. And now knowing that you step into the very last part, like doing an assessment, which is a live session where someone is watching you while you are doing the work, where you're doing the session, where you're doing the therapy. And you mentioned the feeling of being nervous and performance anxiety. So tell me, if your permission, a little bit more about that. So when you think now about doing this assessment, what thoughts come up and what feelings come up? And I know nervousness,
Mhm.
performance anxiety. What else? Let's explore a little bit.
Mhm. So, the performance anxiety involves all these thoughts that come through that say, okay, you got to make sure you say the right thing. You've got to make certain you word things correctly. The thoughts are all about make sure you say the right things, but also make sure you watch your time and are able to get in everything you want to say. Because as you know, the exam is only like 45 minutes, which is really, really short. And in that short amount of time, you have to accomplish quite a few things. And I don't want to come off as sounding really, really rushed because I know that when I get very nervous, I may have a tendency to either slow down in my speech or speed up, but speed up to a point of like, and I think, if you're taking somebody under hypnosis, you don't want to be talking 100 miles per hour just because you're under a time crunch. you know, that's not going to be good for the person who's helping me out if I'm talking like 100 miles per hour, especially for hypnosis because it's calming, it's soothing. So one of the other things I'm thinking is like I'm hoping that my tone will be um, very neutral, monotone, not too many inflections, and I've been practicing a lot. So yeah, those are the things that are coming out.
Good. So let me reflect this back to you. What comes up under the umbrella or the field of performance anxiety are the thoughts of not saying the right things, not saying things right, using the words wrongly.
Mhm.
You have to watch the time. You're afraid of getting over time,
Yes.
and you want to get in everything you want to say, but at the same time not be over the 45 minutes frame, which is necessary. In short, you want to do it right,
Yes.
and you don't want to rush through it, but also not being too slowly. You want to have a hypnotic voice and being all that, and you want to have all that what's needed now. I think, first of all, everyone, and I went through that the same. I had the same thoughts, I had the same thing, so I can feel what you are going through, and that's okay. And the other thing is, you said, when I practiced a lot,
Well,
you did practice a lot. How did it go in the practice? What are you doing? How do you feel when you do a session without being monitored?
my practice sessions have been from 1 hour to 90 minutes, condense that to 45 minutes. So it's a part of me that's panicking about that.
Yes, I can totally see that, and that I think a lot of everyone has this concern. Now I wonder, are they the same requirements when you do a practice session and the assessment? Is it the same? Do you have to do the same things, like the same long transformation, the same long things, playing
No,
around with the tools?
no, no.
Oh, and also the other thing is like you are in this school which is preparing you for this assessment. You invested a lot, and
Yes.
they've graduated a lot of people, thousands and thousands of practitioners and therapists, coaches. So they know what's possible to put into 45 minutes. And you know also, well, that's what you now confirmed, is like it's different to do a long session where you can really tap into that completely, or giving an assessment, which means like almost a little snapshot or a little overview of what you are capable of,
Mm, mhm, mhm, mhm.
that you got it. You understand what you can deliver this method.
So what I'm hearing you say is that, yeah, in the practice session, more than likely, even another real life session, then I'll be, you know, having to have that time, like an hour and 30 minutes to do a session with an actual client, correct? But this is all about the methodology. So they're just seeing if I understand how the procedure of the hypnosis works, and maybe I should just simply focus on the methodology during the assessment or
Well, I mean, what I invite you to look at is at the two different things. The one is the assessment, the other one is the session when you deliver it. And the assessment, what is possible in 45 minutes, they know. They have created it, they have tried it out many, many times. And I wonder, when they know it works, when you did all the requirements, what does it take to trust the school and yourself when you do the things you do, when you do all the requirements? So not misunderstanding it, because you said, how can I get 1 hour or 90 minutes into 45 minutes? Who
Mhm.
says that you should do that? Because I know that some parts of the session are shorter. You have at the
Yes.
end 5 minutes for the transformation. Are you doing 5 minutes transformation with a real client?
No, it's longer.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Are you only, or you have more tools, you have more things. So this is all planned. This is all, it's
I
good.
see what you're saying now. Yes. Yes. Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying now because I did also just the math for myself to see how much time I can spend on certain tools. As you were speaking, one thought that came through was I can do a quick, somewhat like like just a quick practice in my with myself in terms of like timing myself and seeing how much time I spend in each category to see whether my um this the how can I put this, like the whether I'm speaking too fast or too slow, and then that also can kind of like help me figure out, okay, well, if you're slowing down too much, that takes a lot of time. But if you're speeding up too much, that would be making it short. So finding a cadence that will fit like that time frame. Does that make sense? I
It
think it
makes totally sense. And that brings me to something I wanted to go anyway, because there are things like you cannot control the outcome. You cannot control what this person who is taking the assessment or even your client does. You cannot control what comes out. But what can you control?
me.
What can you do within this field of what you can control to do the best you can, to make the best in your part, which is your business, which is just what you can control?
Yeah, it's I feel like it's I can control only myself, my thoughts, definitely. Um,
Your
but
thoughts, what else? You can control your thoughts, you can control,
I can control the way I speak, I
and
suppose.
you can control also what you said before, what you do. You can control how much and what you practice. You can
Yes.
control if you practice or not. It's your choice. This
Yes.
is your business. Everything which is you is what you can do. You can prepare, you can practice, you can study, you can count, or you can calculate how much each section will need. This is all what you can do. And I know you do it because we also had a conversation before. I know you prepare, you do. And that's what you can control. And you do the best you can. Is that correct?
Yes. Yes. Absolutely. Right. Yes.
Now,
Yes. Yes.
what you cannot control is the outcome. And what we cannot control, and we go there, is, in my experience and observing so many people, is that what stresses us out most, because we
Mhm.
don't know if we will pass or fail. If there
Yeah.
is a word failure, you know that. I mean,
Yeah. I
and,
do.
and so you already said what I can do is I can practice. I can prepare myself in whatever ways it's necessary. I can look at the things which I can prepare, or I know that um I I should focus on, like my voice, for example. but you
Mhm.
cannot. And that's what you can do. And then you did the best you could. And then there is a day of the assessment, and you did the best you could until now. And then you go there, and there you show up, and you still give the best you can.
I have to treat this the way I treated the written exam, the assessment. That's where you're leading me to because
Exactly.
and the point is if I fail, I fail. It's okay. I can also I know that they do give you the opportunity to make up, kind of like the written exam. You get a second chance. So yeah, I don't know why I'm putting so much pressure on myself this way, but I think we all do this all the time, especially if we go like on interviews or have exams. We just put so much pressure.
Yeah, we all
So
do. But the good thing is when we put it on, we can also take it off. A little
true.
bit.
A
And the
little
other thing is like, yeah, what if I fail? Well, then I fail. And that I know the worst case scenario for you, correct me if I'm wrong, is well, I fail.
yeah.
Okay, what happens then?
Well, then I just prepare for the next step, which is okay. This time, the second round is not going to be a live. It's going to be recording, but it's still nonetheless the same thing. So, same process, same thing. And
Exactly. And I'm sorry to interrupt you, but now going back to the experience you had with the written exam, where you did it twice, but going back to our last session, like you got so much out of it. And at the end, you were even grateful for that experience. Now, taking this worst case scenario, you have to redo it. So the worst case scenario means that you maybe also get out a lot of lessons, right?
I was just about to say, I was waiting for you to say it because I was like, you know what? Yes, if I fail, not that I'm wishing to, but if I did, actually, it would be for my benefit because I would get even better. Um, and I'm not in a space where I'm saying I want to fail, just to fail so that, I can gain more because I feel like I've practiced a lot. However, it could just be that in that moment, I'm not quite ready or whenever may happen. But like you said, there are lessons to be learned. And what I have learned so far from failure is that failures are there to assist you to get yourself to a better place, to a place that shows your strength versus weaknesses. So, failure growing up, I was taught meant it was a bad thing. Like it was just, it was just that you failed and you're lesser than, you're not capable, you're all these negative things that failure has been associated with. Never in my life did I ever look at failure, or even for that matter, really teach my children that failure is actually good because it just means that somehow you might be missing some information or there's something there for you to look at so that you can be the best version or bring out the best version of yourself.
Yes, exactly. That makes
Or
so much sense. And so
it
what you say now, it's like we just revisit a little bit what we did for the last
yeah, yeah,
round of exams, which you did like impressively good,
yeah,
impressively well. It was
yeah,
like stunning how you went through this.
yeah,
So when you did it once, you can do it now also. And there is no failure, there's just feedback. So maybe even changing the wording, because everything you said now is just like telling me, well, what you're talking about is not what we uh, put into this negative attached word, which is failure. It's
Yes.
feedback. Well, look at that maybe closer. Look at that maybe a little bit more. So this
Oh,
one, yes,
thank you so much for that word, Monica, because yeah, that word failure, and I remember one of our past sessions when there was also, I think I mentioned to you a word that just did not sit well with me, which was, what was that word again? I believe it was,
discipline, I think.
yes, it was discipline. Thank you for reminding me. I was like, what? Oh, man. And you reframed it. And I much prefer feedback than failure. Feedback resonates because that is exactly what failure is. It's giving you back information like, hey, you might be missing a component or you missed a step and you may not realize it. And so feedback to me feels empowering. So thank you for that. Yeah. I
Yeah,
think,
amazing. So the worst case scenario wouldn't be so bad. So we took the wind out of this sail also.
yeah,
Um, so worst case that happens, you get a lot of lessons and
yeah.
good feedback so that you become even better than you wouldn't be. So the worst case scenario is actually not so bad.
No,
And now let's go back because this was one part. The other thing is like the performance anxiety. You said, I have performance performance anxiety. Is this true?
I think those thoughts, I don't know that statement to be truthful. I, well, actually, I do know that if I if I'm in front of someone, that a lot of the times what goes on in my mind is this preoccupation with like, okay, I'm hoping I say the right thing. When I'm having a conversation, like when you and I are doing these coaching sessions, I'm present. So I'm not thinking ahead or formulating what I need to say. I'm not thinking about what it is I need to say or how I need to say it. But in exams, especially oral exams, it's like you're thinking, I need to say the right thing.
Mm.
I don't
Yes,
know.
I think for a certain degree that's normal. So we have this full alertness and um getting a little bit nervous or excited, remember?
Yes. Yes.
And I hope I'm doing it right is what gets turned on when you are on stage. But
Mhm.
when you have a conversation like our coaching conversation, you don't have this thought, but rather you are present. What's the difference? How do you feel? How do you act? How do you present or how you deliver your content in the one situation when you have a normal conversation or even with a client or with a friend where you give advice or you coach her, or in an assessment? What's the
So
difference? The value you give?
the
Or you
value,
think they receive, no, the value they receive.
the
How?
value that they receive, I think I don't think there's a difference within the value. I think that for me, the difference between the two is my level of awareness, the awareness that someone is watching me. And something just happens. It comes over, when you're thinking you're being watched, you behave differently. You, yeah, there's this knowing, okay, I'm being watched. So I need to like make sure I, I don't overstep. I say the right things. I don't say too much.
Exactly.
Um,
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. You want to make sure you say the right thing, you do the right things. Well, when you have a caution conversation, you do the right things, you say the right things, and you are with you. The difference here is you're present. And in the other situation,
I'm not.
where are you?
I'm definitely not present. I'm in my head. I am so in my head. Okay, thank you for that. I am wow, okay, yeah.
So,
Where I
and I know, I mean, I don't ask you to be fully in balance and fully at peace when you have an assessment. That would be perfect. But let's stay realistic here. We all have a little bit, we feel this excitement,
yes, yes,
these
yes.
sensations, and we are super on alert. But what if that can even help us and we know, okay, that's normal. Well, I go there and I am present. But you cannot change the situation. There is someone watching you, but that doesn't mean that they are waiting for a mistake.
Mm,
It's also that they want, I mean, I'm sure all the trainers who will be there or whoever will be there, they're not waiting to find a mistake so they can make you fail. They're waiting for you, and then I'm sure they're enjoying to watch a beautiful session,
mm.
and they're excited for you.
I didn't think about it that way. Yeah, yeah.
I know, because what you had in your mind is like, because you mentioned before the school, there is an assessor, there is someone, there's a teacher who is waiting with the red pen
Yes.
to mark everything which is wrong and to put underneath the grade. Is it the same situation? Who is acting when you have this fear? Is this little child from school, or is this therapist?
No, it's my little girl. It totally is my little girl who is, and it's so funny that you bring up the red pen because that is an image I had. It's like, okay, wrong, wrong, wrong.
Yes.
And I never actually even had the image or the thought. This is so bizarre because I never had the thought, Monica, that the assessor or the teacher on the other side could actually take pleasure in like just watching. They're not just watching to catch mistakes, but they're maybe watching to see, yeah, how beautifully it will unfold. And in this moment, I'm even thinking, I said, you know, at the end, oh, so let's just say for argument's sake that I fail. I'm willing to bet though that they would probably tell me where things went wrong just to give me better guidance. But I think they probably would also share how well I did or where I did well so that I can have that balance. And I've had that experience. And the only reason why I bring this up right now is because I've had that experience before where I've had teachers who've said, okay, this wasn't good, but let me tell you what you did well. And that brings everything back. So thank you for saying that. Yeah, my little girl was going into the whole thing about wrong, wrong. Go in the corner, sit there.
Yeah, and what happens is, and I know this is very, we do it now in a super speed coaching session. But because we work so much together, so I know already where it goes. And what happens is when we used to have until now like a certain fear of like performance anxiety or whatever it is, or exams, then what happens is we act out of this child who has received or had made this belief that we are not good enough, that we always mess up, or whatever is the story we tell ourselves, which is a lie, which is not true anymore. And in that moment, when we go into in our world, in this present moment, into a similar situation, it can happen that this little girl takes on the steer and is suddenly doing the assessment. Now I ask you, do you want to have her doing the assessment and she's probably 8 years old or 10 years old, or do you want to do the assessment?
No, I want to do it. I mean, I
Exactly.
definitely, yeah, no, I want to do it.
Exactly. So now when you know that, then you can also maybe reframe a little bit like I have performance anxiety. I am nervous when I do assessments. I speak too fast when someone is watching me. I get nervous when I have to deliver and be monitored. So maybe this was the case until now, always. How do you know that it will be from now on also? Be a different person every moment.
How will I know it will be this way in the future? So I think that in this moment, because you made it really clear, I can now kind of make the distinction of, and this is, I really should have done this earlier, is to check in to see, okay, I'm having the thought, but whose thought is it? Is it my thought as the adult, or is it the child's thought? Is it a child's thought, or is it my thought in this present moment? So that's one thing I'm going to do. The other thing is, once I'm able to discern which voice it is or where the thought is actually coming from, is then to tell, for instance, in this instance, my little girl is like, okay, I know you really want to come out and play, but this one, I'm going to ask you to just have a seat and at the end, come out and celebrate with me once we pass. But the whole aspect of like being judged by a teacher or whatever, I'm going to tell her that's no longer part of our reality. It's no longer part of our experiences anymore. So no need to bring the past up here because it's no longer relevant. It's not relevant. So yeah, these are new experiences. And I will actually invite her to join me in this new experience so she can actually feel something different. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, now imagine the situation. There it is. And you have prepared and you know you are in the time frame of your client. You did the best you could in all the preparation. There is the time. And now the assessment or the session starts. What's going on in your mind and in your being and in
The session starts. I'm going to be fully present with the client.
how
And
are you going to do that?
uh, well, some of the tools I use are breath. So I will, number one, just ground myself and breathe. And one of the things I find, like, especially in this circumstance, maybe is to really like just connect with the person across the screen who is helping me out and just fully be focused and concentrated on that person.
I'm sorry to interrupt you here. You mean you would just say to connect with the person who is in front of you, who is helping me out? How do you mean that? How is this person helping you out?
So I'm talking about the person who is I'm going to do the hypnosis on.
Ah, okay.
So that's what I'm referring to as that person who's across the screen from me is the only person that will matter, kind of like the way that you and I are right now in
Yeah,
this conversation.
exactly. But
So
exactly. So do you focus on this person? I was just, my ear was just pricking up a little when you say this person is helping me out. Is this person helping you out, or are you helping this person by delivering a session?
I'm helping that person by delivering the session. Yes.
Yes.
So because I am helping, but because they're showing up also to for me for this exam, um, yeah, the reciprocity is just that I'm going to show up for that person as well because
Yes.
they're showing up for me and I'm going to show up. So in
That's
that, the other thing also that I should mention is that, that should be helpful for me is the fact that the moderator who's going to be there is actually going to turn off their screen. So it will really honestly be. I mean, I know that person is there, but I won't be seeing their face. So that's helpful too.
yeah. So you will be, you can, let me repeat this. You will be fully present you do also with that the best you can in this circumstance. Like focus on your breath, grounding, that's what works for you. Connecting with this person who matters, your client at that time, because you know that's how it works. You have a lot of practice sessions. You know how it works. You know how you do it. You know how you can tune into a person. So what else going on then in your mind's eye when you look at the situation of the assessment? How do
So
you
it,
feel?
it so how I'm feeling right now is I'm feeling calm about it and excited, also curious. Um, but also, there were some preparations and I have to honor myself in this moment because I'm not just going in without preparing something or without preparing myself. So the preparation comes even before I actually sit down and have this across with um, the client. So I feel that in my own prep work, number one is just to be able to, and I'm not going to police my thoughts, but at least be mindful enough and aware enough of what I'm thinking. I have my script. I have the model of the procedure, the tools, and how the tools are used. So refresher on that is also part of my preparation. But once I'm there in front, the only thing that I will have is just to be very present with the person, have them there across from me, and also have my script. So I feel that in that moment when we start, it's just going to be myself and this person. It's going to be my client. It's just me and the client. And in this moment, as I'm talking to you, I'm actually reframing the whole thing. So I understand the moderator is going to be there and it's going to come in, going to be there in the beginning. But once that camera goes off, then I know that it's just myself and this other person. And I will be fully focused the way that you and I are engaged in this coaching session. That level of engagement is what I'm bringing forward, and also level of presence, because the presence to me is everything. And what I mean by that, Monica, is that when you're present and listening, there's no like distraction. You're zeroing in. And that actually removes a lot of other stuff where I feel like you can just zero in and go in, do what you need to do, and then be done. And that's it.
So thank you for preparing for that also. Like what you said is like there were a lot of preparation already. You did a lot of work and you are still doing until the day is here.
Yes.
Also, you will be present with this person. When you now think about it, you feel calm, excited, and curious.
Yes.
I'm happy to hear that. And how do you feel now about the whole situation, the research assessment?
I'm feeling pretty good. I was nervous, but nervous again, excited. And I'm still like a little excited. So I feel a lot more reassured, uh, the same way I did before I took that other exam. And again, the nice thing about feedback is it's just that it's feedback to just make me even better than what I am. So I'm looking forward. I'm really looking forward to it, honestly. And I'm not even thinking in terms of passing or failing. I'm reframing in this moment right now as I'm going to consider this to be a practice towards the entrance of having my first client. So it's like, okay, this is like, hey, we're just doing prep work here. We're getting the starting line. You're at the starting line, Olivia. This is, you get to go. And once the race is off, boom, it's off. And you can go.
That's amazing. That's so beautiful. It's impressive how you reframed it. Like now you're not even going to an assessment, but you go to a practice session.
Yeah.
And now let's go just quickly visit back our worst case scenario. When there is, when the worst case scenario would then be, correct me if I'm wrong, that you have another practice session, right?
Yes. Yes. And this time without a moderator, and it's going to be recorded. So I'm feeling really good actually right now. So yeah.
So I'm happy to hear that. And now so when the worst case scenario comes in, meaning you have another practice session, but if you don't have the worst case scenario coming up, that means you would have one practice session. And would you then continue with practicing?
I would, no, I would start having clients.
Yes. And when you have clients, I mean, um, would you still practice and improve and try to grow?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So, meaning in one case, you would have practice sessions, and in the other case, you would also from practice session and another practice sessions, right?
Yes, yes, absolutely. Yes. Yeah, I didn't understand your question. So, yes,
Yeah,
I would. Yeah, definitely. I would continue because that's the only way we get better, right? I think
exactly.
when
So, in both cases, is you're just getting better and better. So now you don't even have an assessment anymore. You're going to a practice session. How's the shift that happens within you when you change the word assessment to practice session?
it takes that sting a little bit, the sting of like the pressure of like being on the hot seat or under a hot lamp. It it actually takes that away. So yeah.
What's there instead?
Was there instead I okay, so don't laugh, but was there instead for me is a sunflower.
Mm.
That the image of a sunflower because when you look at a sunflower cannot it just makes you feel Um, I want to say it's a flower. So it makes you feel good. I know some people don't like sunflowers, so whatever flower you can observe, the most beautiful flower that just makes you feel kind of at peace and makes you, it kind of brings a smile to your face. That's what I'm putting in instead of that, like kind of like hot lamp, like, ha ha, we're watching you now.
Amazing. I love how you bring in the visuals. So
Yeah.
your place is monitoring, watching in the spotlight.
Yeah.
Um, with a beautiful sunflower, feeling good, at peace, smiling inside and out. That's what I'm
Mhm.
sensing. So alone by changing the assessment into a practice session, you could shift this. And now I'm happy for that result. There is just one little thing I want to work on because what we cannot overlook is like when we go to a very important scenario for us. It now when we do the work on that, it doesn't mean that we should not or it's wrong to feel any little sense of butterflies or even sweating in the hands or stuff like that. It's just also there. So, what I want to work on with you is amazing. You reframe your thoughts, you reframe the visual, you be present with the person, you prepare yourself mentally, emotionally, and also practically for the assessment. You do the best you can, but even if you do all of that, that doesn't mean that when you show up there and you feel sweaty hands or tingling or whatever it is, that now you failed it. Oh no, now you can't do it because now these feelings come up. They shouldn't. What I want to say with that is like we have to embrace whatever comes up. And it doesn't mean now we will be nervous or now it didn't work. It just means like, well, that's normal. I mean, look at that. I
Yeah.
have now this situation. And of course, I get a bit shaky and my voice is not the same like I would have it when I talk to a friend. But
Yeah.
I mean, look at that circumstance. It's a totally different scene. That's okay and that's normal and that's good. And in spite of that, feeling this excitement, feeling this maybe shaking in my voice or whatever it is, I can still do the best I can and perform the best way, honoring my practice and all I can trust myself that I can do this despite all of that
I
feelings
love,
that naturally come
yeah.
when we have this situation.
Yes. I love that. I love that. Yes. And thank you for recapping all of that because, well, I already know, I mean, the visuals are set in my head. And in this moment, I'm really, really uh, integrating the aspects of like the whole reframing things such as this, like the exam. And when you said, yes, it's normal to have butterflies and sweaty palms, the visual that I got is, yeah, at the start of a race or any kind of competition, an athlete is heart is always racing. It's that adrenaline pumping. That's natural. That is absolutely natural. And that's actually a good thing because what the adrenaline does, it's full presence. Boom, you're right here, right now with this. It's like no space in your head, no space in your mind, no space in your brain at all for you to be thinking about this over here, this over there, whatever. You're right there. And it's full presence where your energy is all gathered so that your energy is focused for the task at hand. And so, yeah, thank you for that. Thank you.
Beautiful how you picked up what I said and continued it because exactly that's where I wanted to go is like this natural body function that come up when we are in an extreme situation, which is for most of us, and I have never met a person who is not exams and assessments are like a little bit like that. So we have this adrenaline, but it helps us. It helps us to not think about our shopping list or what we have to do afterwards or what we will eat for dinner. It's just like to keep us laser focused, like you said right now. So it's a friend. And you just
Yes.
took it on and implemented in and continued the little pieces through there, like embracing everything that comes up. So when you feel like this adrenaline coming up, just you can say thank you. Because now I will be even more present.
Yes. I
I will be
love.
even more focused.
Yes. You know
Like
what?
the athlete.
You just gave me a word too. It's like befriend it, be friends with it. I don't have to shun it. I don't have to shove it somewhere. I don't have to suppress it. Be friends. I love that, Monica, because that really it shifts things. It's no longer something that I have to fight or contend with or like be like, ah, but instead it's like, no, it's a friend. So how would I treat that friend? Treat it that same way. It's like, don't push it away. Don't fight it. Yeah, I love that. Thank you. Oh my gosh, such jewels, such gems. Thank you. Yeah.
I'm happy that this resonates with you. And you said something really important here. We don't fight. Because what happens when we fight something, which is there, we feel this adrenaline coming up. At the moment when we try to fight it, is we fight with reality. So how likely is it that we win? We have
Yeah.
0% Zero chance because it's there already. We have a choice. Like you said, we can fight it and make it then even worse. And then we are busy with fighting that. Oh my God, now I'm getting nervous. Oh my God. Or we just say, oh, hi, there you are. Great that you're here. So now let's do this together. You will bring me the energy. Won't get tired because I have adrenaline going up. I won't get tired. I won't think about going to the bathroom. I won't think about whatever I have to cook or whatever if I want to do. I will just be there for these 45 minutes. Now, going back to these 45 minutes now. At the beginning, you said this was something that concerned you, that it's 45 minutes. Look at it again.
Mm. It's more than plenty of time. Now that I'm
And
looking at it, yes.
not only it's more than plenty of time, but maybe it's also helpful that it's only 45 minutes because I bet when you do a normal session, you are not all the time in this adrenaline state. But
Nope.
45 minutes, it's okay.
That's absolutely correct. Yeah, you're so right. Yeah. Yeah, because you can't hold that adrenaline state for that long of a time. And that adrenaline is not there. I mean, it's a little bit there when, yeah, when you do a session in the beginning, but it quickly wears off and then you're in that session for an hour or an hour and 30 minutes. So you are correct. I'm glad it's only 45 minutes. That really puts a whole different spin on things because I would not want it to be longer than that.
I mean, and maybe we are also able to have this super laser focus for 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever it is. But isn't it great that you only have to do it 45 minutes?
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really great. I was so thinking that, oh my God, this is short. I can't do it. But no, you're right. Yeah, this is great. And then we'll go by this quickly and that fast. And yeah, this is great. Actually, this is really great.
Well, that's also not an enemy, actually, but a friend.
It is. It is. Absolutely. I do like this word that you used, friend. I'm going to use that more because I find that if you use the word friend, you wouldn't attack your friend. You don't suppress your friend. You don't fight your friend. I mean, you could, but most of us don't. Because if it's a friend, you have that love for that being. So in this moment, yeah, it's all perfect. Actually, Monica, what's coming up is going to be perfect. And I can't wait to share with your audience what happens.
I'm
Oh,
totally
I'm
proud of
so
you.
clear to tell them. Yes.
So, just to make sure that everything is for you so that you are super excited to do a fun practice session where you embrace every part, where everything that shows up is a friend, nothing to fight against. Let's just check in one more time. How do you feel when you think about this upcoming practice session?
I'm excited to meet this new friend and I'm excited for the engagement, the exchange. I'm also curious as to, what will come up and curious also to see how I I use these tools. So I'm excited about that too. Um, yeah.
Amazing. And what will you do when you start, when you go in, when you go into the Zoom room where you have the assessment and you feel the adrenaline is coming up?
In that moment, if I do feel adrenaline is coming up, I'm probably going to invite everybody to just take a deep breath with me. Even the moderator, I'll be like, let's take a deep breath.
So why are you going to do that? Do you want to make the adrenaline going away?
Mhm. Oh, I'm not going to make it go away, but I also don't want it to maybe like get too intense. So I don't want the adrenaline to go away. I want it to
Why
stay
not?
because it's going to give me the energy. That energy is going to allow me to be laser beam focused and present. So that energy is important to me, but I also need to make sure that I channel it so it doesn't get dispersed and crazy and out of control to a point where it becomes distracting and it gets me into a place of anxiety and panic. So definitely, breath is going to center me, and that adrenaline, I'm just going to allow and unleash it and allow it to guide me in this.
I love
Oh,
it. Unleash it, allow it to guide me, to channel it so that it gives you the energy, because that's what's happening always when we have anxiety or fear or whatever it is. It's just energy. But how we use it, we can use it. That's what comes up. We can use it for our benefit. Now with the
yes.
adrenaline, you don't say, "Oh, wait, no. You say, welcome, thank you for giving me the energy and making me laser focused. And there I go. And then you know you have prepared yourself because you have already now. You could actually do it now. You
Yes.
know you have everything. Plus the person who switched off the camera is not your enemy either, the
Mhm.
assessor. What picture do you have of them now?
It's a softer picture. It's not a picture of where I would think they would be very critical, very judgmental. It's a picture of more like I see them also as my friend. They are going to help me to um, become even better at this.
In any
Um,
way, right?
yes, yes. I can't wait. I cannot wait, Mike. I love what you said. Yeah, everything. The adrenaline definitely is my friend. And in this whole process, I can see how that is actually going to assist me in more ways than I think I've ever acknowledged even in the past because I've felt this adrenaline before, but I've never acknowledged its power and its energy. But that is in fact what propels us and what actually keeps us focused. So yes, I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking
Thanks.
forward to applying these I know you're gonna send me the sessions notes from this coaching session. So I'm definitely gonna take your phrase. Like, thank you for showing up adrenaline. Let's do this. Let's go. Yeah.
Amazing. I'm so happy this resonated with you, and I see you very excited. So now you will find so much fun in doing assessment and exams. Did you maybe keep on doing them?
No.
The mail, amazing work. I'm just joking. Amazing work, Olivia. I am so happy and I can't wait to hear from you and your success in
Oh,
any
thank
way.
you, Rich, Monica. Yes. And I can't wait to come back. Actually, I will be able to share this with your audience. And yeah, thank you once again for another brilliant coaching session. I love our time together because it really helps, like, for me to put things into perspective. And yeah, I can't thank you enough. So until next time.
Thank you. See you next time.
Next